morning, Brian. Good to see you.
Pamela, good to see you. It's been a long time. It's been virtual for a long time now. So we need to, I need to get back to Michigan.
Absolutely. Well, we miss you here. And it's been a while since we did our last YouTube video. We have received emails, and we received two locally here from companies, and they are questioning what is the differentiator between IBM Security and some of the other competitors out there. And you and I know there's a lot to tell, right, with that story. So what I thought we'd do today is have you run through our IBM Security story. And I think it would be very well received by the folks that send in those emails.
Sure. Yeah. That's no problem at all. You know, we a lot of times we proceed and assume that the people that we're talking to, know the whole picture, know the whole landscape of the IBM security story. When in fact, that's probably not true. Actually, universally, that's probably not true. Even for the customers that are using our products today, they may know that product and be really good with it, but they don't know the other things that we've got going on around that product. So let's just take, I've got 412 slides to get through. No, I've literally got about 8 slides to go through, and we'll just kind of talk about some of the industry stuff and what we're seeing in the market. So let me go ahead and start this this presentation here.
That sounds great.
Let's just press ahead here. So Pamela and I, we've talked with geez, in our career, thousands of customers, but recently we've noticed that the customers that want to lead in their industry are really focusing in 3 areas: applications, data, and infrastructure. Applications are becoming more modular, and that trend has been going on since service-oriented architecture. What was that, 15 years ago, Pamela?
Yeah.
They want to break these applications down into capabilities and move them around to different platforms. The data that these applications ingest and create is more of a shared service now than it ever used to be, meaning there's other stakeholders in the enterprise that want to get at that data and do something with it, and certainly run some AI through it to see if they can create more value from the data that they have. And then probably the most radical changes in the infrastructure portion of most enterprise data centers is, back in the day, the data center was behind a firewall and that was it. Everything was on-prem and there was no discussion about it. But, fast forward now 15 years, and that's no longer the case. There's a lot of workloads that have been moved to cloud, to either private clouds or to public clouds. And, each one of those moves has considerations. Actually, all 3 of these things have considerations, and that consideration is security, right? Without cybersecurity, all these are very risky moves. So you've got to have an approach to each one of these domains. We have talked to hundreds of customers about security in the last few years. And one of the themes that we hear pretty consistently is going to be, one of these 4 pillars, right? We've got way too much to do. I have way too many vendors. All those vendors are creating just an insane amount of complexity, and we've got too many alerts. We can't physically process the amount of alerts that we're getting every day. It's impossible. One of the first CISOs I met with when I started several years ago in this job said, Brian, when I got here, we had 40 security vendors. And my first order of business was to get that down under 10. And by the time I showed up, he had his enterprise down to 8 vendors, 8 strategic vendors that he wanted to work with. And his approach was, I'm going to go deep with each of these people versus, buying the next point solution for the next thing that comes up. So, he radically reduced the amount of complexity in his organization by that simple approach. Well, it wasn't simple. It took several years to get it down to that point, but you understand. Especially in financial services. Financial services is one of the most regulated industries in North America, maybe the whole world. There's tons of reporting. There's lots of regulations that have to be dealt with, and certainly as you move things to cloud, there's frameworks and legal considerations about those moves as well. So the typical security concerns that a normal business would deal with are, you know, they're added to exponentially as you get into financial services, because you're dealing with money and lots of it, and the ability to lose that money and end up in the newspapers is great. I mean, if you're going to hack into somebody, hack into a bank, that's where the money's at. But you already know that. So IBM's approach to talking with customers about security is really, this is the key chart in this deck right here. Is we think of it and talk about it really in 4 buckets or 4 pillars: alignment, protect, manage, and modernize. The alignment is to make sure that your security strategy aligns with your business. It doesn't stop your business. It's meant to help your business go faster with the right security controls that should enable your business to be more productive and serve customers better. Protect is the things that we all think about, you know, protecting our assets, our employees, you know, their applications and the data. Management or manage is the ability to the ability to protect your enterprise with all the blocking and tackling that we typically think of, you know, in your SOC. And then modernize is, you know, how do I take the increased complexity and scale that up? Because scaling up what we have today typically isn't going to work, because all the point tools that we bought over the years aren't built for this level of change. So across the top, you know, we see some additional security challenge that I didn't cover in the slide before. You know, probably the one that we hear the most about is cloud security. You know, as we have applications and data and new cloud platforms that we move into to move workloads, each one of those comes with its own security controls, which again, it's not adding to the reduction in complexity, just making it worse. So, you know, people say, well, you know, why IBM? Well, there's a variety of reasons. You know, there's you know, we have a deep expertise not only in the security domain, but, you know, in the insurance and banking as well. We have industry experts. So you combine the product security and industry expertise, and that's a real winning combination for customers. And our solutions are built on an open platform, meaning, you know, you, the customer, choose where you want to deploy the stuff. And our offerings are being infused with artificial intelligence. And the reason we're doing that is because mere humans can just do so much, right? There's so much data that we can consume, think about, look at, analyze, and take action on. AI-driven technology allows the people that we have to work faster and work smarter. And, you know, we've established the largest cybersecurity ecosystem in the world. With McAfee, we founded the Open Cybersecurity Alliance. It's a big deal. So just talk about real quick some of the detail around those 4 pillars. You know, the alignment, and this is probably, you know, where it has to start, right? You need to figure out, kind of like my CISO in the earlier example, you know, what are we trying to do here? So you need to understand where you are today. You know, industry standards is what I have. Is it world class? Where are the gaps? What do I need to do to take the next steps? Which, you know, regulatory framework should I be looking at and following? And, you know, are my executives, do they really understand what happens during a breach? I mean, do they really get it? That the phone's going to ring and the Wall Street Journal is going to be on the phone asking them questions. So it's not just an IT thing. One of the key things that we offer is the IBM Security Command Centers. It's an immersive kind of flea dip into the day in the life of a data breach, and your senior executives can really understand, you know, what is happening, what their responsibilities are, and what this is going to look like. God forbid something to the right of the boom, right? So it's so that's the probably key takeaway. Come to the command center and take a look at what we offer there. It's for a lot of customers, it's life changing. The protect side of this is, you know, things that you probably could easily identify, right? Where's my data? Is it encrypted? Who's got access to it? What are they doing with it? You know, how is my customer experience? Right? Am I just beating people silly with logins and challenges for authentication? You know, I've recently taken over some of the responsibility of my mom's finances, and you know, I had to get access to her a bank up in northern Michigan. It's a single branch bank, so it was a challenge. But you know, I got to say, even for a little bank, these guys were pretty good. I mean, it was there was a couple bumps, but for the most part, they did a pretty good job of figuring out who I was and, you know, authenticating me and, you know, getting me signed up. So it was you know, this is a requirement now, right, for financial institutions, is to have an experience that doesn't drive your customers out of their mind. And you know, clearly, depending on who you're dealing with, like I said, I had a pretty good experience, but also had bad experiences. So it's a give and take, right? Manage, this is stuff you think of, you know, the typical, you know, blocking and tackling, and trying to protect the enterprise, looking at things that are coming across the network, figuring out, is this a threat? What do I do with it? Is this something I got to take action on? If so, what action? How do I figure out if this thing, other customers are seeing this thing, or is it just me? So you know, there's a lot of heavy lifting that goes on in this segment of the portfolio, and you know, products in here, the capabilities would be things around QRadar, your SIM, Resilient, which has now been renamed SOAR or I2, right? So those allow your SOC analysts to work quicker and make better choices. So modern security requires a unified approach. I think it's clear that the amount of complexity and tools and things that need to be wired together and kept going is astronomical. Wouldn't it be great if we could surface all that stuff on a single pane of glass, so that the stakeholders that need the information can have it at their fingertips without having to dive into 7 or 8 or 10 different applications to figure out where things are. To surface it in one spot, so that threat management, data security, identity, and access, all built on top of an open ecosystem, is available for the people in your organization to take action on. So this is what we talk about when we talk about Cloud Pak for Security. That's what this was designed for. It was designed to surface all this information in a single spot, so that your SOC analysts and people in the organization, they can gain security insights and take action faster. And where it says there, all while leaving your data where it is, right? So this is really an important thing, because up till now, you know, to get this level of analysis, you had to move everything to a data warehouse or a data lake, and then you had to put additional analysis tools on top of that to figure out what was really going on there. This replaces all that churn, all that extra work, all that data disk space that you would normally chew up with that kind of an activity. Leave it where it is and let this application surface all that information in a meaningful way. So, you know, the reality here is that instead of having to buy monolithic big applications that, you know, solve world hunger and boil the ocean and all that stuff, you can pick and choose cafeteria style what your business needs to add next for the security journey that they're on. You need threat management, you need you know, more data security, you need, you know, your teams need to work closer together, or you need to pass information from one team to another, or you need to look at, you know, identity and access across the board. You know, you can pick and choose that functionality using this product, because it doesn't really matter what you pick in those downstream product categories. All this rides on top of your ability to really park this anywhere. Put it in your data center, put it in our data center, put it in AWS, put it in a couple different places. It doesn't really matter where the stuff is deployed. And that's really the beauty of it. So, you know, you choose the deployment of it, and it surfaces info and insights out of the tools that you've already invested in. So there's no big rip and replace paradigm here where we're asking you to go and spend, tons of money on getting stuff that, if it's in your enterprise and working today, why get rid of it? Leave it where it's at. IBM, so that's kind of the IBM story, right? Most people are kind of shocked that IBM has this kind of depth of offering in the security, world. It's this slide here, Big Blue. I mean, we're known for working with the largest companies. I noticed this finance one. It says 49 out of 50 of the world's largest financial institutions and banking company. I want to know who that 50th customer is. I guess we'll never know. Pamela, do you know who it is?
No.
I got nothing. So the other thing I wanted to point out on this chart is that, something that we're very proud of, and that, you could take some solace in, is that, IBM leads in 13 different categories, security categories. It's, we have competitors, certainly. I mean, there's some good products out there, to be sure, but nobody can say that they lead in 13 different security categories in Gartner and IDC, Forrester, Ovum, all these organizations that sift and sort technology vendors. So that's quite an accomplishment to say that we have products in 13 categories and we lead those categories. IBM is the largest enterprise cybersecurity provider in the world. It's a $3 billion company inside of a $74 billion company, which is the IBM Corporation. We've been experiencing double-digit growth year over year. We've got 9,000 security employees, despite the fact that it says 8,000 there. Pamela corrected me on that earlier. I should have updated the slide. We've acquired over the years 20 different security companies, and we monitor every single day 70 billion security events. So we're absolutely on the field, and we are playing the game. Helmet on, blood, sweat, and tears out on the field. We're in there with you. So I alluded to this earlier. The complexity is going to continue. Things are not going to get more simple. What we're looking at is, you can see here, 22 billion things that have to be secured. Every application, every iPhone, every tablet, every desktop, you got to have a strategy for. There's data is stolen all the time, 33 billion records, and there's $6 trillion lost annually to cybercrime. So why is this important? Well, it's important because it costs money, right? It costs millions and billions of dollars in fines. So the fines for not complying and being compliant are astronomical. Trying to find enough people to man your SOC and your security team is almost an impossible task. And there's just, there's way too much, right? I would say most of our customers have north of 30 security products installed, right? But the bigger the company, the more they have. So at scale, this just gets worse. So what I would suggest is that, any of the stuff in here resonated, and hopefully it did. It wasn't just me talking to myself for the last 17 minutes, that you reach out to Pamela and I, we can have a talk, right? We can come in, we can bring some smart people with us, smarter than us, that do this for a living, that sit down and, work out these problems face-to-face. Actually, nothing's face-to-face anymore. I guess it'd be virtually with customers, and kind of walk through where you are, where you want to be, where your gaps are, and what's most important to you moving forward. So that's kind of, this is us and this group of people. Actually, that's not either of us, but I figured, what the heck, since we have some people to choose from, I'm just going to pick a couple of people. So that's kind of what I had, Pamela. That's my.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. That was great. That was a very, very thorough presentation on IBM Security. For the benefit of Rob and Sarah that sent those emails in, will you pull up that shield slide just one more time?
Oh, sure.
And Rob and Sarah, this is for you. If you will just commit these 4 things to memory. I'm not seeing this slide yet. Here we go. All right, so when you're talking to your CISO or your VP, if you can commit this to memory, align. This is where you're aligning your security strategy to your business. Protect your digital users, assets, and your data. Manage. You're defending against all of those threats coming in. Modernize. Modernize your security with this open multi-cloud platform. This slide is truly the differentiator, so you can quickly talk to your CISO or your VP, and as Brian said, we would love to come in and talk with you and your teams, and continue to send emails in, and we will address them in the upcoming YouTube videos. And so I think, Brian, again, I want to thank you for such a thorough representation of IBM Security and what we do and how we do it differently. And so everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe as always.
And thanks everybody for tuning in, and stay secure. Please subscribe to the channel, click the bell, turn on notifications, share with your friends and your neighbors and your children. And remember, don't let the bad guys ruin your day. Until next time, this is the Dynamic Duo signing off.
Bye-bye.